Welcome back to Wade Acres. I'm Cody, this is Echo, and we're gardening at home. We're going to go around and look at the different gardens. We're probably going to have to hop around into the shade today because it is a hot one. It's way too hot to be outside doing any actual type of work, but we can walk around and look at the pretty flowers. So I'm going to go around and shade hop while we show the different gardens. Let's go. Off the patio here. Hey Pop, come on in the shade. We got this Black Magic teacup elephant ear, looking very nice. It is getting pretty big, growing out of the little goldfish pond we have here, so it's getting plenty of food from the fish. The roses aren't doing too great. They are blooming. They're doing a little bit. They're still alive, but they could be doing better. The roses are probably gonna get moved to another location, and I might bring in some David Austin roses for this area here. What is happening over here is the Sweet Autumn Clematis is coming into flower, and you can see all the buds on there. Just thousands of flower buds ready to open up. So this is going to be a nice blanket of white, and it's supposed to be fragrant, so we'll see if it smells any good. Oh, it does have a sweet smell to it, so that's going to be nice when it fills out. This volunteer sunflower is on its probably last week here. It's got maybe another one or two to open up, but it's done pretty well for growing out of the gravel right there and being a volunteer, not getting any water, just rain and no nutrients, but I liked having it here. The birdhouse gourds, the volunteers, they're stretching across the steps here and they're getting pretty big. I do have some fruit growing on them, so I will get some volunteer birdhouse gourds out of that, which is always welcome for me. And the mound is looking a little barren on this side because the marigolds are not blooming right now. They seem to all died back, and all the candy cane? No, Cracker Jack marigolds are not doing that great. The calla lilies finally split. They knocked down, so I can go ahead and cut those back. Still waiting for this dahlia to bloom, but I don't know. We might be able to get that dahlia to have one bloom before the end of the year, but I think it's been struggling. It got shaded by those callas for the majority of the time. Over here, the French dwarf marigolds, the zinnias, and the petunias, they're all still blooming nicely. Nice full set of color here. The butterflies and the bees have been all over this area with the petunias and the zinnias, which is always nice to watch off the patio right here. But that's a lot of color, and I think I want the whole mound to look like that next year. Try and keep everything a little bit shorter than the Cracker Jack marigolds were. I don't need anything that tall, but the zinnias are probably a good height, and I think we can fill out the whole bank next year with them. Behind the zinnias, Puppy's catching some shade, huh buddy? It's hot out here. All the perennials are done out here along the island peninsula thing we got going on here, but it's a good thing I plugged in those zinnias because that's what's showing all the color right now, the reds and the purple zinnias. And the butterflies found them out here too, so it's nice to have these zinnias still blooming. And the scarlet runner bean is actually still blooming. It's trying. And that red wave petunia that was a volunteer this year, it's looking really nice. Hopefully it's going to reseed and volunteer some next year too. This fall, once the temperature cools down and I can actually work outside, I am going to be splitting up all these irises and lilies and getting them all spread out more even on the mound with the gladiolas and the hostas, so we can actually see all the flowers instead of some of these big clumps of lilies blocking other flowers while they're blooming. Over here we have the pathway with the calla lilies completely drenched in sunlight, but the bench in there is in shade, so we'll go into the bench. In the shade of the rhododendron and the hemlock, we can sit here and check out some of the zinnias. We got some coleus blooming here next to me. The bees love the coleus, they have little flowers. There is some variegated liriope blooming right here. And we have some hydrangea and abelia blooming over there too. A little bit harder to see. But looking out from this area, I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, I want to get a fall border for these calla lilies, so maybe next year I'd be cutting them out right now and have the fall planting take over. But another little zinnia over here for some color, some grasses. I like it in here. Probably got that shade, huh? We're in the food forest now, another little shade zinnia. Not real full because it was grown in the shade. But I have these blackberry runners that are huge. Look at that. That's probably 6 or 7 feet. This one I have running over this way. That's a big cane. No berries. The birds, I think, are wiping them all out as they ripen. I have berries, but I can't get any ripe ones because the birds are getting them first. And the deer, I think it was the deer, went ahead and ate all the leaves off of this one. So I might have to build a little bit different system for all the berries next year so I can get some instead of all the wildlife eating them first. The sweet potato bed is, I don't think it's giving me any sweet potatoes this year. I'll dig them up right after we get a frost and see if there is one in there, but I'm not too confident with that sweet potato bed. This yellow pear tomato is a bully. I don't know, there's just way too many of them. I don't need that many. You can see there's plenty ripe on here, and the bush is just way too big. I can't eat that many. Can't even give them away. So there's some you can see in here. We got some Geranium Kiss, which has a little Hershey Kiss nipple on the top there, or on the bottom. So that's the Geranium Kiss. These ones are a favorite with my niece, so those have been a good success. Got some nice zinnias here in the pollinator patch on this south end. The zinnias, and I think there's a sunflower still blooming on this end. Little sunflower blooming nicely. And a little nice pink one. Worked out pretty well. Not as pretty as the bloom on the okra though. This is in the mallow family with the hibiscus. So they get a nice large bloom, which is actually very pretty. Got that light pink with a deep red throat. What are you doing, puppy? Any strawberries in there? No, I think I ate all the strawberries yesterday. Over here we have some Rutgers tomatoes, and there's some about to be ready. I already picked some because we're trying to make some homemade salsa, and I got to figure out how to make a good recipe for homemade salsa because the ones we made yesterday were no good. So if you got a good homemade salsa recipe, go ahead and leave that in the comment section down below so I can try that out. Basil's looking real good. Full basils here. It'd be good for arrangements. Looking good. Bees all over it. Look at these marigolds. I love marigolds whenever they're just that really dense, just punchy yellow. Love the smell when you're working around them. And I think that pollinator patch over here did pretty well as well. A nice big nectarine tree. Hopefully get some fruit off of that next year. So there's another little marigold zinnia patch. Love me some marigolds and zinnias. We got some marigolds there, French dwarf. More basil and more Roma tomatoes. Romas are coming on. I've been using these for the salsa as well, so I've been trying to get all the red ones as I can. The Mexican sunflower or bamboo sunflower is starting to flop. It's falling over, but it's still trying. Keep hitting that one with the mower, but it's putting out a lot of nice color out here, just in the background. Giraffe's doing good next to the zinnia. Looking real good right there. Pop you in the picture. There we go. Thumbnail. Driveway pots, they need water. They're pretty much over full, probably full roots by now because they need water. The white daisies are doing good out here, Shasta daisies. The Gaura's about done, just one little flower there. But the white daisies are still shining through. I finally got this weed whacked in here so you can actually see. And then the red sedum just starting to bloom. I think we'll be getting sedum here next week or throughout the week because the bees have been going towards it. So you know that the pollen's opening up. Where's the bees? There they are. Already working on it. So you know that'll be coming here soon. Okay, found some more shade under the red maple. But it's a good view of that beautiful sunflower. It's hard to believe that's a volunteer sunflower grown right at the base of a shepherd's hook. And so is the petunia at the bottom. There's a red wave petunia that also volunteered there. So this whole setup right there on the shepherd's hook I had nothing to do with. Mother Nature went ahead and planted those for me. And I just kept them growing. So they did really well. Pup's gonna jump shade again. But yeah, that's the best volunteer sunflower I've ever had so far. Come up to the pergola where there's some shade and a beautifully blooming silver lace vine. Look how full this is. That worked out great. The storm actually came through and went ahead and knocked it over. Once it got the rain on it and the wind, it was way too heavy for my trellis I have it on. Knocked it over, but luckily I was just gifted a nice tall bamboo stick that I notched in there, put it up into the wire frame, and wedged it down in. So fixed it, and so far she's holding pretty well. Coming through here, we got another volunteer sunflower that's all done. I might be able to cut that one off yet and get the seeds out of her. That's actually right time with all the yellow's already gone. You can see the seeds are starting to plump up. They're white seeds. See that? That one's probably ready. Down below those, we have pumpkin on a stick, which is looking like tomato on a stick right now, but that's what happens. They come red. Well, they start out green, then they go a little bit reddish, and they'll ripen up a nice bright orange when they're ready. So these are almost ready. You can tell the fall season is coming. Look at all them. Got some calendula blooming just for some pollinators attracting in here next to my eggplant. Coming back into the sun, we got some bright red blueberries, tomatoes. And we got some blue ones too, so I might pick one of those for my walk. Ooh. Got a little baby squatty birdhouse gourd here. That is one chubby looking birdhouse gourd. And then you see those. It's like a yellow spotted ladybug. Those are cucumber beetles and they will eat the skin off of your gourds. Oh, look how chubby this one is. I haven't seen this one. Wow, that one's gonna make a nice birdhouse there. Short neck with chubby base. Got a dipper hanging out here, dark green dipper. Hoping I get a long gourd out of this one. You can see, try and put some of these up there, feeding it through the trellis. So I want these to grow up. You can see some baby long gourds starting here. So that's just gonna get long and drape down. So I need to get them all the way up there so they have room to hang. Coming past here, we got a dahlia patch. A nice Kevin's Floodlight, real big 8-inch dahlia. I just spooked a robin out of this red trumpet. This red trumpet vine, you can see there's a robin's nest in there. I just spooked her out of there. Got the cucamelon curtain here. We can come in and pick some cucamelon. But the dahlia bed isn't very impressive this year. We've had better years, but they all did die over winter. Well, most of them. We had some of these red ones survive, so they're looking good. And then I planted some of the yellow ones. and they're coming through. Should be some purple in there too, but nothing yet. Got this nice beautiful white dahlia or gladiola though. It's a little bit later than some of the others. You can see most of them are done. I need to cut those back, but we do have the white and a pink one too coming in late, which is always welcome. Over here we have the Crespo squash poking out, and it looks like I have one fruit. We'll see if that amounts to anything. Hey pup, you jumping shade? Going into the pergola. The pergola has the red trumpet vine on the left. It has this pink echinacea down below, and we have a nice big grass here that's supposed to get pretty big, and I'm hoping it fills in this spot fairly decently. Then we have the blue passion flower, which hopefully it's got a bloom. It does. It blooms fairly regularly, and it's always beautiful. Gorgeous blooms, very intricate flower on there. I got to get some of these gourds cut back. I want to cut them off so they're not hanging over the edge. I want all the fruit growing up on the top. The honeysuckle still has some blooms on it. I can go ahead and let this spread out as well. I'm going to try and bring it over to the right more so it's a bigger vine for itself. And then we saw the beautiful silver lace vine. Gorgeous right now. So let's head into the pergola and see what's growing. Yeah, we got some fruit dangling. We got some apple gourd here. Some more apple gourd. And this is a dipper gourd. A little bit more dark green, smaller head. Some more apple gourds. And this one is a martin gourd. So that one doesn't have the neck that a bottle of gourd does. So that's an apple gourd, it's more tapered. I believe there's a, that one needs to be saved, or it's gonna grow a little bit too big where it is there. We'll bring that down. It'll grow a little bit better. Some of them do grow up above on top of the cage. I don't see any right now. I usually try and reach up there and pull them down, but yep, there's one. There's an apple gourd that's growing on top, but that'll happen. Another dipper gourd, and this is the corner that the long gourd is on, and I'm hoping I get one on the inside of the trellis here. You can see a baby apple gourd starting right there. So we're doing pretty good with the pergola this year. We got gourds hanging, which is always nice to see for me. I love this pergola, having the gourds. I just really got into growing all the different vining crops, and I like it. So gourds and squash and pumpkins, that's where I'm at, especially this time of year. I was just thinking today that I need to start getting the fall decorations out because it's getting close to September. And if any holiday season is going to get stretched out, it should be fall and Halloween. So we're going to start that off a little bit early, and I believe next week I'm going to be harvesting all my squash mound, which has about 120 feet of squash, pumpkins, and gourds on it. Haven't been able to look in there too much since it's gotten real full, so it's going to be a scavenger hunt down there. So I believe we're going to do a video just on harvesting that area. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button down below so you'll be able to see that video whenever it comes out. And if you see a garden around here or a plant that you really like, hit that like button and let me know down below what plant you really like or what garden area you really fancy. So let's move along. We got a couple more areas to show you. The front container between our garage doors did pretty well. It's just a big coleus mound, a lime coleus, and some splash of portulaca reaching out the sides, which I think it's simple, but I like it. I'm supposed to get that autumn brilliance fern to be the tall back piece, but it didn't end up working. The front pot on our little well there did amazing with the purple wave petunias and the Dusty Miller that you can't quite see. Same with the Dracaena spike in the center that never really grew up. But the wave petunias did well, and that's the most important part. Down in front, we got the little duck family with a butterfly and sunflower. We got a gourd from last year sitting there, but we have the blanket flower blooming up beautifully and accenting the French dwarf marigolds very well. The purple allium's just about done. You can see it going to seed. There's just one pretty one left. We got some more French dwarf marigolds over to the torch lily that is all but done except for one. And then we have a little bright splash of impatiens into the hosta bed where the sculpted Rosa Sharon is. So Rosa Sharon looking nice. Behind me we have some bright red, big red zinnias and a annual burning bush ring going around my hemlock tree. Looking real nice. These burning bushes got huge. Off to the side here we have more of the annual burning bushes to draw the eye. And we have this beautiful volunteer sunflower. It's actually blooming right now perfectly for the video. Love it. The knockout roses are coming back in, as well as the gladiolas are finishing up. So we still have a pop of red out here, which is good. And the Russian sage. The Russian sage is still blooming up nicely. This is the first year for this. I just threw it in before 4th of July for some blue out here. And it seems to be really taking hold to its new spot. We got the variegated canna lily, which did end up being a bright, vibrant orange, which I'm very happy with. We got the little balloon flower down here. It's the first year for that, so it's a little bit small, but it's still a nice little pop of color down at my feet. We got a bushel gourd trying to reach its way through here, weaving around. This little frilly cardinal vine. This is a family of the morning glory, but it has a different leaf pattern, really fern-like. I like it. Little red flower. And the dead lilac tree, acting as a trellis this year. It's getting pretty full. You can see the purple hyacinth bean vine up there blooming nicely, all the way to the top. So that vine can reach easy 20 feet, and so does the gourds, because that gourd's way up there. These are the apple gourds, and I believe another one, but I can't remember what it is. But you can see we have apples hanging from the tree. So it's definitely an apple gourd and maybe a martin gourd, but I'm still waiting for the fruit. The Easter peppers have turned bright orange, and we should have a watermelon out here ready. This is a watermelon out by the road we've been waiting for, and that tendril is all dried up. So that is one key indicator to tell you your watermelon's ready. The other one is the spot on the bottom, which it's a little white, kind of yellow. And the leaf is still good, plenty green leaf, but that is that tendril all dried up. I think this is ready. So I'm going to be picking this here soon for some fresh watermelon. The chameleon vine is doing pretty good. That's a perennial ground cover. Just has some different pink hues to it. The petunias, adding some color out here. And this morning we actually did have some nice heavenly blue morning glories blooming out here on the mailbox trellis, but it's a really hot one, so those are all curled up and done for the day. Got a crepe myrtle over here that looks like it's putting on some flower buds, so hopefully that'll bust out some pretty flowers before the season comes to an end. Down here I have this big marrow type squash. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I like it. So that was just a bonus squash extra plant I had. It's always nice for those to go ahead and produce some fruit. Got the Rosa Sharons all blooming out here out front, looking nice. And then the marigold line all the way down to the castor bean, which is getting real big and full, and the Royal Empress tree. It's a massive tree for being only 3 years old. It is the world's fastest growing tree, and it's doing real good here. Into the jungle garden, we got some elephant ears doing good, and the canna lilies are just popping. Yellows, reds, and oranges. Gorgeous canna lilies. And we have a giant sedum here, covered in real big bees and little bumblers. We got bees all over this sedum, all types of pollinators. But we definitely have some bumblers and carpenter bees. It's actually a pretty big sedum. You can see it's splitting in the middle, but that'll get separated here in the fall, hopefully, if we have time. Right beside it, we have this real big sunflower. Not a massive sunflower, but it's getting tall. It's probably about 7 feet right now. It's big grass. I just threw this here this spring, and I'm actually really liking it. Adds a lot of nice texture to the area. And I know you already noticed beautiful, beautiful fans here. The pink fans of the coxcomb. Is just covered in bees too, and just covered in color. Love it. Been waiting for some type of plant, or been wanting to just do one plant in a large space like this, and I'm glad it was this one, because it looked real good with the green foliage all spring and summer. It had nice lime green foliage, and then now it's turning bright pink for the fall, and it's going well with the black-eyed Susan I have down here in the corner, and the paradise petunias over here. I'm thinking next year I might put that coxcomb all the way around these castle wall hollies, castle spire hollies, and the limelight hydrangeas. I think those will help keep the weeds down, and that'll also just add a lot of bright color over here. It'll contrast well with that bright pink and the bright white of the hydrangeas. I think that'll work out nicely. So in the perennial garden here, we do have some color, but we have a lot of weeds, but that's okay. It's kind of a cottage style this year. I don't have a cottage garden anywhere else, so we'll just go with that. We got some cleome there, the magenta purple. We got some phlox back there, the white. And then standing up real tall, we have some hollyhocks. Nice red zinnia in here for the pollinators. And a big hibiscus. Nice big bright red hibiscus. It can get bigger, it's only its second year there. The crocosmia is still blooming, which the hummingbirds I'm sure appreciate, as well as that big purple zinnia. I know the hummingbirds will even stop at the zinnias. Looking past the weeds, we still have that white Shasta daisy blooming, which is good. I got a lot of work to do in here because of these weeds, but this whole area is getting rearranged. We had the maple fall on it, and that just changed all the plans for the area. So another big sedum here covered in bees. Come in here and check out the pollinators at work. You can see the pink hue starting to come across all the little pom-poms and all the worker bees. Alright, last stop, we're gonna head down to the vegetable garden. Coming in the vegetable garden, we have the pollinator patch with the elephant ear we see first. And this is pretty much all my extra plants that make this look good. So I had some extra zinnias, so I plugged those in, as well as some French dwarf marigolds that I plugged in around the edge here. So all the lilies and the gladiolas and the butterfly bush are done right now. But the zinnia, as you can tell, are really holding together the whole area, bringing in tons of color and pollen for the pollinators. I guess the butterfly bush is still doing something, but you just can't see it with all the zinnias. Got some marigolds holding on into this patch. I got plenty of geranium kiss tomatoes that need harvested, some more yellow pears. I just harvested. Puppy, what are you barking at? Puppy, what are you barking? What are you barking at, Pop? Yeah. What is it, buddy? Puppy doesn't like snakes. And we got a snake skin. Uh-oh. Go. Oh. Alright, you can go at him, Pup. It's just a skin. Skin, puppy. Puppy does not like snakes. Vegetable garden has gone to the weeds. I still have some tomatoes in there that I can harvest and some bell peppers. The squash is clearly done, and the pumpkin never made it. At least I got some marigolds still blooming. See, my watermelon patch is a nice foxtail patch, so I have no idea if there's watermelon in there. There very well could be, but yeah, I have that one out front we're gonna cut. But over here there's some squash trying to vine its way through all the, oh, there's a bunch of morning glory trying to climb. The squash is still trying to vine its way through. You can see this gourd tackling this fence. It's completely laying over the fence. I got snake gourds just doing whatever they can. Got a little hook foot on that one. Got some more snake gourds over here, going any which direction. Some buried in the grass. So we're definitely got some harvesting and scavenger hunting to do out here. But what I want to show you is this Royal Empress tree. Look at this. Yeah, that is 1 year of growth. No, I'm 6'4", and I can't even reach halfway up that. So we're gonna probably bring the hoe down here so I can get up higher, drop a tape measure down, see at the end of the year what the total growth is of this Royal Empress tree, because that is every bit of 15 feet, I think, and that's only 1 year of growth. Like, if you look back on my videos, you know we cut this tree down. Right there's the stump, right behind in that shadow. We cut this tree down in the spring, and that was a new shoot that popped out of the ground. And this is just 3 months of growth, one season, big tree. Right beside that's all my squash and my pumpkins. You can see a couple of the pumpkins peeking out there. We're going to be doing a harvest here probably next week, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you'll be notified whenever we start posting. Sunflowers are looking good up top, and I just love seeing this sea of green with the orange accents poking out. That's what I wait all year for. That's beautiful. That's all for this one. Thanks for coming along with me on this hot day. I tried to run around as quick as I could, show you everything and see what the progress is this time of year. But either way, we got our week 15 garden tour in. So if you guys have been following along weekly, I really appreciate you guys watching. If any newcomers are here and have stuck around this long, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button before you leave. And you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.